We think we're working. Excelente. Yes?
I hope so.
Hi.
Are we there?
Yeah. Okay, so good. Well, hello there. I'm Becky Higgins. This is Molly.
Hello.
Hi. We are so excited to be doing this broadcast, and we have had some major technical issues. So if we're a little off at first, it's because we've been through the ringer trying to get this going. But we're so grateful for all of you joining us, both on Facebook Live and on Periscope. And it's so good to be here to talk about something that we both care deeply about, and that is Project Life. So this is super exciting for us to be talking about something that we love personally and, of course, professionally as well. But a quick little intro on who Molly is. Molly's our project manager. So what does that even mean, just for everyone to kind of understand a little bit?
Basically, I manage any project that we have going on. If Becky has something we're using, doing for VIPs or influencers, I manage our blog. I kind of oversee social media. I manage our creative teams. And like I said, any little project that Becky needs done, I just do it.
Little and big. There's a lot of projects
at
any given time. Yeah, so that's...
Kevin Allgaier's in.
Oh, hey, Kevin. What's up? And so we should also tell you that Molly and I are not here alone. We've got Race and Wendy behind the cameras, and they're watching for your questions and comments. But let me tell you something really cool that we've never done before, and this is really, really exciting. So we have you guys here live. We are going to have even more people watching this back later, and hello to all of you replay viewers. And something that we decided that would be really fun to try today is after this broadcast is over, like the live broadcast, Molly and I are going to literally sit at our computers for a solid hour and respond and answer any of your questions, your follow-up questions. We're going to do that today and just kind of see, because we love the live element, and it's definitely fun to do this during, but afterwards we realize that people trickle in and it takes a little bit of time, so we're going to try that. So, but having said that, because this is live, we're here and we're mostly going to be chatting through a little bit of Molly's process of Project Life, but also we're watching, Wendy and Race are watching for your comments and questions. If there is something that comes up that's very relevant and pertinent to what we're talking about, they'll interrupt us. And so feel free to ask questions and leave your comments, because we will be checking in on all of that, okay? So Project Life, quick overview. If you are new to Project Life, to scrapbooking in general, the best way to not spend time describing it all right now is to go to our YouTube channel and go to the Becky Higgins YouTube channel and watch the video that's called Welcome to Project Life. That is a great, short, and sweet overview of Project Life, how it works, and the different ways to do it, because there's physical product, which we're going to be talking about in this broadcast. There's the app, which is, I mean, come on. It's so great. And then there is the digital, for those who like to create scrapbook pages on their computers. We love options, and it's really cool. And I personally use the physical and the app version, and I think you do as well.
Same. Yeah, physical.
Yeah, so to each their own, and you can mix and match, and we can talk more about that. But be sure you watch that, and be sure that if you do have follow-up questions after our broadcast, that you leave those comments and questions, because we will continue to interact with you after this live broadcast. Okay, so let's just jump right in.
All right.
So Molly, as a scrapbooker, how long have you been scrapbooking in general, like not just Project Life?
Middle of high school is when I kind of started my first scrapbooking.
And since you're about 24 now.
Yeah, it's only been like 10 years. I mean,
well,
yeah.
You know. Yeah, so not
about
very
20
long
years
at all. And that's, or for most of your life. And then traditional scrapbooking for the most part?
I did traditional until about 5 years ago. But
and then what happened?
Well, I realized I wasn't getting it done. I had 4 kids, not 5. I had 4 kids. No. And I hadn't done any scrapbooking in a long time. And I had lost my mom about 5 years previous. And I realized as I was trying to look through things my mom left behind, she didn't leave anything. There were no photo albums, no journals. I didn't even have anything that had my mom's handwriting on it.
Oh, wow.
And it dawned on me that I had to figure out a way to get it done. I just had to, for my kids, for them, for myself. And so that's when I discovered Project Life and realized this was an easy solution that I could do, and I could write my journaling, and it was simple and easy.
Yeah, good. That's awesome. And I remember hearing a little bit about that with Molly, but we haven't talked in a lot of detail about your system and how you use Project Life, which is why we decided we would just have that conversation live and with you guys.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? And what's really cool about Project Life is even though the system is the same, like we'll just focus on the physical product, it's photo pocket pages, it's pictures, it's journaling cards. You slip it in, you get it done, like that's the premise. But the way that you approach it and stay up with your scrapbooking using Project Life is probably different than maybe somebody watching.
Right.
So that's, I think that's what's going to be really cool about this.
Yeah.
Okay, why don't you explain when it's time for you to catch up. We'll call it catching up, or to work on your scrapbooks. What's your process?
Okay.
How do you do this?
So basically my process is a 4-step process, and I never realized it till I really thought about it. The first step is choosing my photos. So going through my computer and choosing which photos I'm going to print. And I am very simple about the way I choose my photos. And I'll get into that when we go more in depth into that. So number 1 is choosing my photos and getting them printed. Number 2 is I slip my photos into the photo pocket pages. I don't worry about anything else other than grabbing them and slipping them in where I think they.
So you're not actually adding journaling cards at this point. And, and so I want to interject with one little thing. What Molly is describing, I don't know the details of what she does, but we both have a similar approach in general, which is to batch. And when you batch the process, sometimes for a lot of people that's it makes so much more sense. And for other people, they need to do all of it all at once because that's their creative process. But I like that we're similar that way because I relate to that.
Yeah.
I think that in one sitting to sit down and slip in all of the photos and not think about journaling, not think about the decor, not think about the whatever, it just makes sense. So that's what you do first usually,
That's
right?
exactly what I do. Okay. And then my third step is going through and choosing my journaling cards and my filler cards. And then I slide those in with the pictures. Wendy.
Somebody was asking where you print your photos.
So I'll go ahead and jump into that right now, if that's okay. So this is not a big, I'm a Costco fan, and their pictures are not the best quality, but it's easy and simple, and I can get it done in an hour or 2. And a lot of times I don't pre-plan. I just decide I have time. And so I'll go through. So these are just the pictures I picked up at Costco the other day, and I haven't even looked at them yet. I make sure to turn off the auto correction because that sometimes darkens them. And so these are pictures from a trip that my husband and I took together, and they are not the very best quality, like I said. But to me, that doesn't matter because I'm getting them in my albums, and having my kids look at their albums and look through them all the time is more important to me than having it picture perfect photographic quality.
Let me add to that because I want to make sure to reiterate something about that, and that is that I think the alternative, if I'm hearing you right, the alternative is that you just don't get it done.
Right.
So you're choosing convenience over the detailed quality of the actual prints. What were you going to say, Wendy?
Kevin said matte or glossy.
Oh, matte for sure. Always matte.
Yeah, and that's what we print through the app as well if you're printing your photos.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to actually add. I don't talk a whole lot about how I print my pictures, but I will tag on to that because I used to print at Costco back in the day. I'm talking like even, pre-Project Life and a little bit at the beginning. I used to, and I really was so unhappy with the quality that I needed to switch things up. I have used some other really good companies. White House Custom Color, Persnickety Prints does a good job.
I've used them a little bit too when I'm planning ahead.
Yeah, there are definitely some good printers out there, but I have to, you don't even know this.
No.
I have to tell you what I just did this week is I actually ordered 4x6 prints through the project like that.
Really?
Yeah, like this,
just
like a normal print. I did, and the reason why I did that is for convenience.
Yeah.
Because you don't have, in the project like that, you don't have to create a layout to print a 4x6 photo. We have a 4x6 template. So it's not necessarily as streamlined as just going, and uploading to Costco or whatever, but I only needed about a dozen or 12, 15 pictures, and it was so easy, and I was already ordering up prints, and my favorite part, and the reason I'm bringing this up, is the quality is phenomenal.
Oh, it's
because
amazing.
We are print partners, White House Custom Color, as you know, and anyway, I'm excited. When they show up, I'll share with you guys on social media.
A couple people want to know why you prefer matte over glossy.
Fingerprints.
Yeah.
The other thing to that is, here's a picture. I'm looking at Molly's picture right now, and I'm holding at an angle and different angles, and there's never a glare. So in the scrapbook, you're already going to have a little bit of a glare from the plastic of the page protector or the photo pocket page. If you add gloss to that, it's just so much glare.
Yeah.
So fingerprints, it sounds like you were thinking the same.
And the glare, for sure.
Yep. Ooh, look at us. Jinx.
You're in sync, aren't we?
Okay, so choosing your photos and slipping them in, and then for the batching, you then choose all of your cards at the same time, and then talk to me about journaling, because that is an element that we don't want to leave out of our scrapbooks.
Totally. So journaling happens completely separate from all of that. I kind of have to be in the right mood to journal. And it's interesting because I have friends that I'll do Project Life nights with, and one friend in particular can never seem to get more than one layout done. And she's
trying to journal or something?
She's trying to do everything and so picky about every little thing, and then trying to journal. And so for me, she sees me and she's like, how do you come away with a stack full that you're ready to journal? And I haven't quite gotten her into the batching process yet, but for me,
why?
I've tried.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure why.
Don't let friends not know batching.
I tell her, and I laugh at her, and she just can't wrap her brain around it because she wants to have a fully completed, tie a bow on it layout
before she even moves on.
Yeah.
The thing about Project Life that's different than traditional scrapbooking process, and you're reminding me of this, is that you actually can batch.
Right.
Traditional scrapbooking doesn't allow you to batch the same way that you can with Project Life, so it's a little trickier.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably why she and maybe some of you have a harder time thinking about only adding pictures at one time or only doing the journaling at one time. And that whole, what you said about journaling, can I just talk to you guys about that for like 2 seconds? Journaling with distractions, maybe some of you can do that. I'm like you, I can't do that. In fact, my team here knows that sometimes I shut my door, my office door, if I'm in writing mode. To come up with the right words and to really be meaningful, you don't need to be an author, you don't need to be a renowned writer of any kind, but to be able to actually articulate what you're trying to say and make it make sense instead of like what the lyrics are to the song. I'm not saying I've ever done that, but just saying that when music is playing or a TV show is going and I'm writing at the same time, some of those words show up. So my best advice on journaling would definitely be batching is a good idea, but also to be not distracted.
Yeah,
and sounds like. So when do you do your journaling? Outside of those scrapbooking
I do.
parties, right?
I don't do it with friends at all. I do it at night after my kids are in bed, or I don't ever have time during the day, so it's always at night.
Yeah.
Just when, and sometimes my husband will be watching TV or something, and I'll sit and do my journaling because I'm not super interested. Yeah. So that's when I do it, and I can do several pages at a time. I just grab the journaling cards out, write my journaling, and put it right back in.
Brilliant. We should probably
get into
this.
We're ready for the album for sure.
What? You want to see the album?
You want to see the album?
What?
So
I have to say a little conversation about it without being distracted on the visual is helpful to like hear what other people are doing. That's what our goal is, and even having this discussion is we do want you to feel inspired with just kind of the higher level of your scrapbooking approach. And now let's dive into what it looks like.
So this album I'm working on today is my family vacation album. And
time out.
Yeah.
What other albums do you have? Because this is a separate album.
This is a separate album. Okay. Yep. So I have one album I do throughout the year, just our family yearbook. It's all of us. And then my kids have their ongoing album, similar to your kids, like with the school papers and whatnot, and then just our vacation album.
Perfect. Okay.
So we love to vacation, and I have a hard time paring down my photos. So when you were in Hawaii and paring them down to just a few a day.
Having like anxiety
attacks? Yeah, no, because I do not limit myself as to how many photos I print. So this album just has, it has a trip with our family going to Boston. This is our whole family. It's a family trip, and then here's a family trip to Mexico.
You guys see this okay, or is it glare? Wendy?
Oh, I can see it.
Okay.
There's just so many
comments
trolls today.
Yeah. Oh, trolls. We're blocking trolls as well. Is that on Periscope? I'm just curious. So Periscope ends up having a lot of trolls. Facebook Live less. This is something we talked about in an earlier broadcast. So
somebody keeps asking about batching.
Yeah.
They're not positive what you mean by that.
Okay, we can talk about it.
Yeah, we'll
just recap it real quick.
Really.
So this is a trip to Mexico, and then it goes into a trip to Europe that my husband and I took together. So
I love what you're doing, and I do the same thing. Is that not every single page is a full 12 inches? We have lots of photo pocket page designs that are not like this is 2 inches shorter. This is actually 12 inches by 10 inches. And the reason for that is because some of the layout designs have room and accommodate for both vertical and horizontal photos and cards.
Yeah, I would say this is one of my very favorites.
I love it.
Design G, I think. Yeah, I use that a lot. So working on now is just finishing it up. This was a trip 2 years ago. I'm not fully caught up because I get to working on my family album, and this is just what I'm most excited about. So I wanted to finish it up because I've been meaning to finish it. So
let me say a note about that as well, which I don't need to tell you because you just hinted at it. I'm going to tell you guys though. Oh, you can. It's there. You can turn it around so that you can.
Okay.
But I wanted to just say that you bringing that up reminds me to advise you that when you are wondering like where to start or where to pick up because it's been a while, like Molly was saying. Don't just go back to the beginning or start now and work backwards. That's such easy advice that people just throw out there just to say something. And I just don't agree with that. I think that it's really, really important to do what you are excited about.
Yeah.
And so right now in your situation, how long have you and Andy been married?
16 years.
So 16 years of being a family, right? And so right now, if you were starting, I would never say, well, go back to that 16 years ago. And I wouldn't say, start now and work backwards. I would ask you, are you most excited about working on that wedding album once and for all? Or would you rather work on your vacation album? So I hope that one of the main takeaways you feel is that Molly was working on her vacation album from 2 years ago because she was in the mood for it. That's it. Like, you don't need, it's not rocket science. It's just whatever you feel the most excited about. And the reason why that's so significant to me is because when you were excited to be working on it and then you chose to focus on that, then you were probably like even more motivated to like keep doing more. And that's how we become successful in our scrapbooking.
Exactly.
So that's really awesome.
That's exactly right.
Yes, what else do you have?
Well, so do we want to get started into showing how I choose?
In fact, that's actually a really good idea. If none of you, or some of you, excuse me, have never actually seen how it works, I mean, you saw a sample, but go for it.
So basically, I tend to use design A and design D. That's what that is, right? Those are the two main designs that come with the big pack. I use these pretty exclusively when I throw in some other sizes here and there. So
this is A, and A is always design A because we label each of the layout designs. That's what we mean by that. A is like totally typical project life. 4x6 is on the top and bottom, and then 3x4s through the middle. And as you can see, Molly using not just the cards that are pre-designed, but also you can cut a 4x6 in half, stick it in there, and that works as well. And of course, everything is double-sided. We want you putting photos and cards on both sides.
Yep.
So that's design A, and design D is kind of flipped. Basically, it's for vertical pictures.
And then for my odd size page, photo pocket pages, I have a binder full of them. And so this just has the different size options.
And they're always here, and you just kind of reach for them. Yep. And again, like we talked about earlier, you have the different sizes that aren't necessarily the full 12 inches. And what I've seen you do in here, which is cool, is you have this once in a while as like an insert.
Yeah,
so you don't need like a full page more of pictures from that particular event or occasion, but rather just a handful.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things to do. So I keep this on hand while I'm doing my project life. And then if I have pictures that don't quite fit the layout, then I just grab one of my other sizes and I make it work.
That's awesome. And so this is one way to organize your photo pocket pages, is like in an album. That's how I happen to organize mine as well. Some people keep them in boxes. If you have other ways, I'd love for you to chime in. And again, Molly and I will be on in Facebook for 1 hour after the broadcast ends to respond and answer some of your questions. And so if you want to chime in with ways that you organize your photo pocket pages, I'm curious.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'd love to know. Yeah.
Okay.
So once I've chosen my plastics, I grab my pictures and this is the batch processing again that someone asked about. So the idea is that I'm not going to sit down, put photos in, put journaling cards in, journal all at the same time. I do it all in different steps. Sometimes I'll do the pictures and the journaling cards in the same night, depending on how much time I have. Other times I will just completely insert pictures in, which is actually what I have here from this album.
Oh, okay. These are not complete because that's where you are in the batch.
Exactly. Okay. So I've inserted photos. You can see I cut this 4x6 in half to fit in the two 3x4s. I've inserted those photos and I've left blank spaces for my project life cards.
So this is where the cards are going to go. You haven't done it yet because all you wanted to do was just get all the photos in for this particular trip.
Exactly. Okay. And so I love photos. So I'm very photo heavy. I don't leave, usually on my vacation albums especially, I don't leave a ton of space, but sometimes I might only have a few photos that go with a particular event. Here's an insert like you were talking about that kind of went along with this particular day. We were touring around Ireland and it just kind of went right with it.
I love this. I'm super photo heavy too. Like whether I'm using Project Life, physical products, or the app, you're going to see way more photos and cards. Yeah, which is great.
Me too, absolutely.
Either way.
So from there is where I'm going to get my cards, my journaling cards and filler cards. And someone asked, maybe on the other broadcast, I don't remember when, is if I store my cards by kit or by color.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I use this tote, which is from Close to My Heart, and it has my kits in it.
So organized.
I have so many more than this, but I knew the colors of these are what I'm using in this album. So these are some of the kits that I am liking for this
Can you guys see that okay? If I leave it right here? Okay. I can see eyes getting really big right now. Yeah. People love to see how other people organize. And we've talked about this on social media before, of course, is that Close to My Heart, which we have zero affiliation with them, they just have a good product that works, and I'm happy to share, and you're happy to share that this has been a great solution, and it divides and organizes, and so I think that's really cool.
Totally.
Yeah, keep going.
So one big thing, and this is up to everyone, what you prefer. I use different kits within my album. I don't
So on any given page, you don't have cards from the same kit necessarily.
Not necessarily. I kind of, and maybe it would help if I was organized by color, but that just throws me into a little bit of a tailspin. So I will literally just kind of scan through my cards and know that, you know, I like this kit because it's a little bit like old-fashioned looking, and it goes well with the style of photos. So I literally will just look through and find something in the color scheme that I like, and I will slide it in. Like this one, I love it. It has the mustard color. Whoops, let's go like this.
This is from the Seafoam, which I think, I mean, I recognize the card as that anyway, which I think has been retired even.
I think so.
So
I put it up there, and then I will look usually within the same kit to see if I like something, you know, see if there's colors that look really well. So when I flip this page over, I'm going to see that I have 2 spots here, and I definitely want to put at least one journaling card in so that I
we're
can...
on the back side of the page, so that's why I'm reaching on this side to slip it in. See if this goes in just like that. Yep. You're pulling from the same collection.
Yeah, so that's the same collection, and
while you're finding that, I agree on, you have to do what works for you. But what works for me is definitely pulling from the same collection as well, because I feel like it simplifies everything.
Right.
If I feel like I've got to look in a lot of different places, I'm just confusing myself. Yeah. No, I think that looks really good.
Exactly.
That's very nice.
So then I'm going to set that page aside. I'm doing nothing else besides
not journaling on it right now.
Nope, no journaling. Yep. Put it aside, and then I'll go on to the next page. And this is literally how my, you know, all of my batch processing goes. I find something that works. And again, like I said, I think it would be maybe a little simpler if I just use one kit, but because I like to mix them up and I like to find different colors that work better with different pictures, it doesn't bother me that it takes me a minute to kind of choose the card that I think I'm going to like.
It's super important to me that when people figure out their process for Project Life, that they really connect with what they're doing.
Right.
And because I want to choose from basically one collection, and because you are like, you know, I don't care which collection it's from, tells me like, I'm doing what's working for me because it makes so much sense for these reasons, and you are totally doing what works for you. And that's like, at the end of the day, that's what I want everybody to do with their scrapbooking, is to do it in a way that they just feel excited about. Exactly. So I would never want to like rob somebody of that excitement and joy of like, you know, be more creative if they want to be.
Exactly.
So I think that's cool. So you are, again, it's like another page that's done, but it's being set to the side.
It's being set aside.
Okay.
Yeah. So I could get probably 20 pages or 10, 15 layouts done in no time.
Easy.
I mean, less than 45 minutes, I've got it done. And then I usually do not journal in the same night. Like I will do the pictures and I'll do the filler cards and journaling cards usually in one night if I have time. But I'll usually come back a couple of days later to do the journaling. And sometimes it takes me longer because I want to come up with exactly what I want to say. And I want to make sure it's meaningful and that I'm not just throwing random text on there. I want it to be meaningful.
Yes, so, for sure. Let me add one more note about batching, because someone was asking about batching. I want to clarify, if you haven't caught on to everything that we're saying. It's not that hard of a concept. It's actually really simple, but this is another way to put it. It's compartmentalizing. That's what it is. Yeah. So instead of just doing everything all at once, you're compartmentalizing, saying, I'm going to do all of my photos first. In another sitting, or after that's all done, I'm going to choose my cards and put them in. Separately, another sitting, or later that night or whatever, I'm going to do all of my journaling. And the reason why compartmentalizing makes so much sense for not everybody, but for people like us, is that, I'll speak for myself because I can't put these words in your mouth, but for me, my brain functions better when I compartmentalize. So when I'm in writing mode, I'm really like, it flows and it's coming. But if I go back and forth between being creative and writing and decorating and pulling cards and doing photos, and then my brain's like, what are you doing? What's going on here? And that's why psychologically, I think it makes a lot of sense. Wendy, was there something that
somebody wanted to say what this is again? Close to my heart.
It's close to my heart. This is the medium size of.
And somebody was asking if you'd heard of Art Bin.
Yeah, I've heard of Art Bin. I didn't know they have.
Do they have it
like
similar?
this?
Yeah, they're just wondering if you'd seen it or used it.
Not lately. I haven't actually heard about Art Bin for a long time. I used to use some of their organizers that were kind of totes with handles back in the day, like a long time ago. But that's something that we can definitely look into. I like that.
So,
one
thing I was going to point out, well, and I use the Project Life journaling cards pens for my journaling. And if you guys don't have one of these, It's amazing. It is the perfect, and we have several different tip sizes. I use size 3. I don't know what other people like.
I like 3 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And these are, we do get asked a lot of times, like, what's the best pen to write with? Ballpoint pen is, I mean, it's fine, but it doesn't have the same type of ink quality and archival quality and things like that. And the people who produce our pens, they're called American Crafts. They're a partner to us. They have been in business for decades, and they're known for their pens. So we're just not like, you know, randomly manufacturing these pens. They come from the best. And so we really love the pens and love recommending them for that reason.
So one thing I was going to note is a few years ago, I decided I wanted to maybe decorate my pages more, use stickers and chipboard and other things like that. And I tried that for a little while, for a few months, and it just didn't work for me. It just was too much. It was an added step. And for me, I started Project Life because I needed it to be simple and I needed my pictures in books. So I went away from that, and I have bins and bins at home with all of those embellishments, and I just don't do that. And that's, for me personally, I love the simple, clean look of my Project Life albums. And I notice when my kids look at them, they're interested in the pictures and they're interested in the stories. And so I realized, okay, it could look cuter and a little more fun if I added those things, but it just didn't work for me. But I know people love it too, and more power to you if you do, because
to each their own. That's the whole point, is really doing it in the way that really resonates with you. And of course, you know that I'm like you that way. Simple is king for me. Like, I have to keep it simple. It's the only way I can keep up, and I find joy in simplicity. I literally, like, it makes me so happy when I do nothing to a page but photos and cards, and that's it. And that's physical and app version. Like, if I leave it simple, I'm a happier person. If I start embellishing, like, yeah, it takes me back to my old days of traditional scrapbooking that's elaborate and decorative, but I don't connect with that the way I used to. And I'm so glad that I used to do it that way. My kids were just flipping through their scrapbooks again yesterday, and I'm like, dang, that's a lot that went into that. Like, a lot. And I will never regret that. But yeah, this simple is definitely reigning in my life right now. So I love to see that that is the same for you.
Me too.
Is there anything that you felt like you missed in describing your process, or do you think you covered it?
I think I covered it all.
Okay.
And I think it it's attainable. That's the biggest thing. It's, I can't tell you how many friends I've turned on to Project Life just because they see it and they are like, whoa, I can do this. And until you see it, you almost don't know that there's a possibility of it being so easy.
And not just seeing it, but I don't know what your experience is, but when I've had friends that have actually done it, like they have their pictures, they're slipping into photo pocket pages, and they are actually doing it for themselves. It is a whole, like, it's the epiphany that they really want. It is very exciting. So this is awesome. Thank you, Molly. This is so cool. Okay, so we want you to continue asking questions and engaging with us, because like I said, if you're just joining us, Molly and I are going to be online on Facebook specifically right here watching for your questions and comments, and we're going to engage with you and keep the discussion going for an hour. We're going to just try that out. In the meantime, I want to make sure that you understand that we have these places to go so that you can learn more. I mentioned watching Welcome to Project Life on our Becky Higgins YouTube channel. But also, if you're not already getting our emails, we only send about once a week, so we don't inundate your inboxes. But if you go to beckyhiggins.com/subscribe, we really work hard to put together meaningful, beautiful content that's helpful, that shows up once a week. I would call it Happy Mail. It's definitely exciting and inspiring. We definitely let you know through email of any promotions or sales going on. And it's a good thing to receive in your inbox. Everything we do ties back to cultivating a good life and recording it. And so we hope that through those efforts and those emails that we are achieving that as well. Of course, you're already following here on social media. We're on all the platforms. Take your pick. We love to share every day. What else have we left out? Have we covered
if they missed anything, they can watch it again.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the cool thing, is Facebook keeps these videos forever, and they're gonna stick around here. And thanks for being with us. Really, we love to talk. We could talk about this all day. So yeah, it's good stuff. All right, so then we'll see you guys later. Thank you again for being here.
Bye.
Bye. So I think.